Any discussion? Roll call, Beth.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
And Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna make the motion for the approval of the minutes. I'd like a second, please.
I'll second.
Jody, any discussion? Roll call, Beth.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Berman?
Yes. Okay, John.
Mr. Manfredi, I'd like to introduce Bill Kermovner from the Berkshire Early Childhood Center, who's going to do a short presentation for the board tonight.
I like the idea. Now it's just on or not? You're on.
Do you even need,
Oh, I'm on. Good. Here we go. So, again, it's a pleasure being here. Unfortunately, we don't have our kiddos with us. We're experiencing what they call fifth disease, which is a virus, and it's highly contagious. So I thought it wasn't too good of an idea to have them all together as a group. We want to limit the exposure, close proximity. So I asked John if it were okay to have them scheduled for another board meeting, because they were excited along with the staff coming. And you guys don't want to hear from me. You probably hear more from the kids and the teachers. So, and muting the teachers a little bit. They're just here for moral support. So, good evening. My name is Bill Kermovner. I have started off as Student Services Director here at Berkshire, and now I'm going to transition into our Berkshire, and I can give it a like too, if that's better. I'm going to be transitioning into currently the Berkshire Early Childhood Center, and it's an awesome time. So, especially because my daughter is 4 years old, going to 5, so I think I can relate to what a lot of the parents and the kids are kind of going through. So, with this presentation, we put up our main theme here. Thank you, sir. Our main theme as far as what we're all about. Here's our staff, small but mighty. Again, it's a great staff, and I've inherited a great new family. So we have 4 teachers, lead teachers, one of them being Mrs. Lisa Wilson, who is our itinerant specialist. She's our special ed teacher that goes out to the various other programs to meet our preschool students that have an IEP and meeting their needs. We have, and again, I did not mention Miss Stephanie, Mrs. Nicole, and Mrs. Mary Ann. All our lead teachers, which are comprised of 3 classrooms. Our paraprofessionals, and we couldn't do this, our daily routine without our paraprofessionals, with Miss Audrey, Mrs. Beth, Mrs. Chelsea, and Mrs. Michelle, Mrs. Megan, Mrs. Alyssa, and Mr. Alec. Now, a lot of them are community members or close to and near to our Berkshire family. And also, we couldn't run the whole process without our secretary, Mrs. Amy Dawson. So we took her from the Educational Service Center, and that's one of my past students from Wycliffe. But we won't get into the age thing. So I'm proud to be with this staff, and they're very talented. They love kids, and it's fun. So if you want to go on, we're going to try to move this as quickly along. Here are our lead teachers again, so you can put a name with a face. Interesting tidbits. 23-24, we started with 1 class and 4 students. This year, we have 3 classes, over 40 students enrolled in our actual program. And that includes 4 itinerant students that are at another program, programs like Head Start. So those classes are Cubs, Explorers, and Buddies. And this is where the kids would have really taken the show. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with Louie, but let's hit the music here. They say Cubs, right there. Then we do Explorers at the end, and you can kill it there. But all the kids love Bluey. So that's a cartoon show that's actually from Australia. So, and then we finish it up with Badgers, and they love doing this. It's an opener. This is kind of how I really got into the classroom with them. They all do Bluey, so I'm like, okay, I think I got it in with them. So they love singing that. So we do that as a morning opener in all of our classes, just to kind of get them warmed up. And go on to the next slide. One of the Google slides, and again, there's a picture. You can go on to the next one. What a great looking group of people, you know? So here's the meat and potatoes, the boring stuff. What we teach, how it's taught, we use this thing called creative curriculum. Creative curriculum is based on, and we have embedded our kindergarten readiness standards, along with what we do is we do the social, emotional, physical language, cognitive, literacy, and mathematics. Those are the developmental domains. And why? You know, we know that as kids get older, education gets less and less interesting. Well, why is that? Because we need to engage the kids better. My best teachers, and I'm sure yours were engaging, made education fun. And that's what this curriculum's all about. Fun with the standards base, making education fun. I think it should be that way, shouldn't it? It makes it interesting. So we base it on thematic units, project-based units. We are doing, we've done it in the past, our building unit. And if you flip through the slides, and you can hit the music with it. I had a music rendition, We Built This City. I always try to put that together, Starship, probably before a lot of your time. So, but again, you can see here, the kids are engaged, having fun into the curriculum, making it fun, hands-on learning. So they got to experience a lot, but again, the picture is worth 1,000 words. This is the product that we're seeing after 1 year, and how engaged they are. So then the next thematic unit that I'm talking about is wheels. Well, everything you wanted to know about wheels, and I think the music that I had along with this are Wheels on the Bus, and they would have sang Wheels on the Bus. Much more entertaining than me, but if you take a look, everything to do with wheels, the lessons are designed around that theme, and we make it interesting. We're project-based learning. They were building vehicles, wheels, that actually, so they could see what it's all about. We also, in this unit, we did a field trip to Middlefield, and we took the students around to Emily's Flour, Heritage Meat and Cheese, and Crystal's Custom Connections. And really, that's a big deal. To take preschoolers on a field trip is a major thing, and getting them ready to socialize, get out in the community, and how it was to ride on a school bus. This is a major undertaking, but if you take a look at their faces, they're having a great time, and they're learning. And also with our community partners, so it's a lot of fun. Here we have our safety forces again, our first responders that are talking to our kiddos and learning about everything that is involved in their occupations as well. So again, the theme being wheels and tying everything in. As we go through the slides, we have touched that truck. So you may have seen behind the Kent Jogga campus a bunch of different trucks, like a school bus, fire engine, rescue vehicle. We had a 18-wheeler, a flatbed actually. We had a snowplow truck from the county. It was neat, and you're going to see some pictures there. The kids had a great time, and again, theme about wheels, and they can actually reach out and touch things. The best part, I think, the hit of the whole time thing was when they were able to pull the blow the horn in the one county truck. I loved it. Scared the living daylights out of me, but I was waiting for it, and I was prepared, but it still scared me. Caught me off guard. But we thank the community partners for coming out. We had Ronya paving as well, along with our paramedics and firefighters, and we even had a school bus, of course. So, but it was a nice event for them, and they're having a blast and learning. So, yeah, we had to kind of stop them from running on the flatbed a little bit, you know, it seemed like they were having some races going on, but, you know, these are all new experiences, and what the county tells me, they're going to, not the county, actually, I think it was one of our townships, they're going to drop off a plow, and they're gonna have our preschoolers be able to paint the plow. I've seen that done for some districts, I think some high school, I think our high school does it, but we're gonna do that with our preschool kiddos. But there's a picture again, them being able to touch the truck, you know, so, and the last thematic unit, is on trees, about life cycle and trees. Again, you see that these lessons are all, or a lot of them are project-based learning, hands-on, getting a sense to do that. We get them outside. This is a beautiful environment out here. Getting involved with all the trees and things that we have with the maple trees tapped and stuff. Also in the greenhouse at Kent State. So they actually get to be a part of it. They're not just sitting in a classroom. So the entire campus is a classroom, which is excellent. We have a great campus for that. So again, I think most of them are smiling, I think. So they're having a good time and they're learning. But that kind of gives you an idea. Proof is in the pudding. This is kind of like an assessment showing all that they've learned. And ideally at the end of the game, at the end of the year, they're ready for high school. Or high school. Oh my God. Now this is a really advanced program. We're ready for kindergarten. So they will be ready. We have 24 of the 42, I think we're at today, that are going on to kindergarten. The others are under 4, so and they won't be age ready. But again, they're learning all those skills and what they need to learn, but having fun with it. So I've taken up too much of your time, but I thought I'd share that. And again, we'd like to have our kiddos come back and really put on a short, abbreviated performance to show you what they've learned. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions at all, or no?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and again, it was interesting to me to see the numbers and how they really exploded. And I'm projecting that they will go well beyond that and for the following years. So it's finding the teachers and the staff to fill those needs. But this is an exciting group and an exciting time.
Well, it'll probably help too once we're moved to our
The
new
anticipation is
facilities.
there, so
Yes,
thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to offer public participation. You want to come up to the podium, grab the microphone, and address the board if you would choose to.
Hello, Linda Valentino. It's been a while since I've been up here. President of Clarendon. I think that the presentation today was a perfect lead into my question. It's about curriculum. And the preschool curriculum seems terrific. Do you guys review the curriculum?
Handbooks, we
We
do the
do.
handbooks.
Review it.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, but course guides, well, not all the course guides, some of them are.
So the curriculum that's taught in the school is not per se approved by the board.
We don't have to formally approve it, we review it, but we don't vote upon it.
Okay.
Is that what you were asking? If we vote upon it?
Yes.
We do not vote upon it.
Okay. That's the end of my question.
We all review it, but we don't have to formally vote on it.
Okay, so I guess then I do have a follow-up question. So when you review it, if there's something that you don't agree with or that isn't the way you think it should be, how is that handled?
That hasn't personally happened to me yet. I think our curriculum team does a great job. I can only speak for me, though. I haven't had an issue I've had to bring up.
Okay, and I think the rest of my questions are probably more specific to Dr. Stoddard, so thank you.
Anyone else for public participation? Okay. With that, treasurer's report.
So I'm going to start with the donations tonight because we have a
special donation to recognize. So can I have a motion to approve the following donations? We have 16 after prom donations. And then last week we received a donation from Coco Sing for $90,000. And that's to assist in our mechanical program.
Excellent. So
Mrs. Stone, I think you have something to present?
Maybe if you'd like to come up. I can go down.
Do we need to take a picture, Beth? Thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of the Berkshire Board of Education, the staff, and the students, we would like to thank the Reinhardt family and Coco Sing for their substantial donation to help fund the mechanical technology program that will be housed at our new workforce campus. The Reinhardt Timmons family have been amazing supporters of Berkshire schools. Greg had asked me numerous times what they could do to help the school, and he came up with a plan. His family is part of Coco Sing, and they put together something that was amazing. So on behalf of all of us, we have your So I just want to say this is. So anyways, this transpired over time. Greg has asked me a number of times, what can we do, what can we do? So one day, we both have preschool kids, and then he came up and goes, Linda, I've got an idea. And about a week later, he said, you know, can you help me get some information on this? And about a week later, we had this donation, just like that. So it was pretty amazing. Do you want to say?
Yeah, we're really excited about partnering with the school district. You know, this is great. We can move some of these vocational programs locally. So, you know, the kids that aren't fortunate enough to get into the Auburn program, you know, they've got opportunities, and you know, Preston, you know, they've made a big step to get a facility, and we'll have Kat, you know, bringing in that program as well. You know, Berkshire's got a lot of bright roads ahead, and we can't be happy enough to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need
I need to make a motion and a second.
Dan made one, I'll second.
Dan, okay, and Brian. Any further discussion? And, you know, the 15, 16 people for after prom, this continues to grow. The support we have for our students, and they should be grateful that they want to put on a terrific program with after prom. So, any further discussion? Beth, roll call, please.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Berman?
yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes. Okay. Financial amendments. I
Actually,
need-
we're gonna go do,
Oh, you wanna go through that
do this,
first?
yeah.
Okay.
So, last week, our, annual financial report was released by the state auditor. By law, we're required to have a financial audit and statements produced 6 months after our year end, so our year end is June 30th. So, this was done in December, but it takes a couple months for, Auditor State's office to go ahead and release it. So in conjunction with the release of this report, because This is a lot to digest. This report is done on a full and modified accrual basis. It's fun to read, look at the artwork. These are all local kids. This is Mrs. Giel's kindergartner, did the cover page. But I thought I would put together a kind of Cliff Notes version for you. So, and I'm calling it our funding story. So before we get to the numbers, like I said, this is presented on a cash basis. The comprehensive annual financial report is presented on a modified and full accrual basis. And this is our commitment to transparency within the district, that all the numbers are out there for everybody to see. We hope this helps the stakeholders understand the school funding and how federal and state decisions impact our district. So first we're going to look at the sources of revenue from a high level. So you can see 2/3 of our funding comes from local sources, and that's property and income taxes. And then we have state sources make up 24% of the funding. Those are the payments we get from our foundation, payments from the state that have to do with the funding formula, as well as tax credits. And then federal grants make up 4% of our funding, and they include Title I, Title II, IDEA funding, and Title IV. And then other represents the advances and refunds. So let's drill down into the local funding sources. So you can see property and income tax makes up 75% of our local revenues. And property tax makes up over half of that funding. And then miscellaneous is the next highest source. This year, that includes the interest income and lease proceeds that we use to build the school modular. So then if we look at our property taxes, which is our major source of funding, as a reminder, the values are set by the county auditor, and properties are taxed at 35% times the effective millage rate. We have a total of 52.3 voted mills, and those mills have been reduced to an effective millage of 22.51. For taxpayers that live in their home, they'll receive an additional 2.5% in tax credits, and then an additional 10% if the levy was passed prior to 2013. So we get reimbursements from the state for that. The graph on the bottom there, you can see the Berkshire property taxes ranked the 4th lowest amongst Lake, Geauga, and Portage counties. So Berkshire has a 1% earned income tax, and that was passed in 2008, and it makes up 19% of our total revenue. You can see we've had steady growth over the past 5 years with a slight dip in 2024. Earned income tax means that only income that is derived from work is subject to taxation. So that means that income from pensions, Social Security, unemployment are not subject to that income tax. And this tax provides tax relief to seniors and those on a fixed income. So now we're going to get into state funding, which has been in the news a lot. The Fair School Funding Plan was adopted in 2021 for fiscal year 2022, and state funding makes up 29%. Out of the state funding we receive, 29% is by the state and 71% is local. So what the formula does, it calculates a base cost of what the state thinks it costs to educate a student, and that's $8,241.61. And then it calculates what they call a local capacity, and that's by wealth of the district. So the state says that we have a local capacity of $6,693.47. So on the formula, we receive $1,548.14. Now, Berkshire is considered a guarantee district, and what that means is that the district's level of funding cannot fall below 21 levels, fiscal year 21 levels. And the majority of the funding received because of the guarantee is because of that loss of open enrollment. So at the time the Fair School funding formula was enacted, we were receiving $660,000 in open enrollment revenue. So we were made whole for that. The problem with the Fair School funding formula is it didn't account for the growth that we had planned based on this beautiful building that we built. So clearly the loss of open enrollment has hurt us. So then this graph depicts, you can see the disparity between local funding and state funding. So next we'll look at federal grants. You can see we receive IDEA grants, and that's for individuals with educational disabilities. Title IID, that was a one-time safety grant that we received through the OFCC. Title I is used to serve families with low income to improve language and math skills. Title IIA provides professional development for teachers, and Title IVA improves in academic achievement. So we really don't get that much federal money at all. So let's dig into the expenditures. This graph represents expenditures by function. You can see instructional expenses, and that would include regular, special, and support services, make up 53% of our cost. 16% of those costs are for facilities and transportation. Administrative costs is 6%, and this clearly illustrates that we devote the majority of our expenses to the classroom, focusing on our core mission of educating children. So next, if we break down those salaries by object, or this breaks it down by object, and then I further want to dig into salaries. So you can see instruction makes up 64% of all our salaries. Support staff makes up 21, administrative makes up 9, fiscal is 2%, and extracurricular and board activities is 4%. So finally, I just want to talk about, have a brief discussion about school choice vouchers. Berkshire has seen an increase in these vouchers. In 2023, we had 3 vouchers, 2470, and in 2025, we had 102. As I stated before while discussing the 5-year forecast, you know, the loss of open enrollment has really been devastating. It's prevented a hardship to the school. Dr. Stoddard and I have both been advocating with our legislature, and we both firmly believe that the state tax dollars that are used to fund school choice should be available to public schools. If a family can choose to, you know, to go to Notre Dame or St. Mary's or St. Helens, why can't a family from Cardinal or a family from West G or Chardon choose to come to Berkshire, and that money should follow? So both Dr. Stoddard and I have been having a lot of conversations with our legislatures, and we hope it makes a difference. And I'll entertain any questions.
I have one, Beth. Of those 100 and so kids that, from our school district that are getting vouchers, how many though are new voucher kids? Can you tell?
So I can't tell who's getting a voucher. All I can see is a number. We do, our associations have done some analysis, and 90% of the vouchers that are being taken, the children have never stepped foot in a public school. So I heard Notre Dame, Cathedral Latin, they have hired a person to specifically go out and help families get vouchers. And those families typically would never have attended a public school, you know, that they would always choose to go to a parochial. So that, I mean, that's frustrating. You know, when we receive any state dollars, there's a lot of strings attached to that. You know, this is one of them, to be able to produce this report. Reporting, testing, you know, we don't get to pick what kids we take. And that's not something that's happening with the school ed choice vouchers, so it doesn't seem fair.
And I think it's easy to misconstrue that, you know, the problem isn't that there's financial support for families to go to where they'd like to go. The rub is that if they choose to come to a place like Berkshire, that's a different playbook than if they were going somewhere else. So, you know, everybody's stretched, and you can't be blamed for trying to find any financial aid you can, but fairness is the key word. It is completely unfair, and that's what I know a lot of us have been trying to get across.
Well, I think, you know, the headline last week with House Bill 96 that passed was that it was, you know, $220 billion for school. And, you know, it is a little bit more than what the governor proposed, but it's $25,000 more than what the governor proposed. So it's not a huge funding gap. And there's been a lot of studies done that this is the lowest percentage the state will be contributing to public schools. It'll be lower than when the courts found school funding to be unconstitutional. So it's just a really frustrating, confusing time in public schools right now. And hopefully we can, you know, get the legislature to see that school choice, because I think school choice is inevitable. And you've heard Dr. Sauter say this often, we welcome competition. We've created a really great thing here. And people want to come to school here. We turn people down, you know, for open enrollment all the time. So hopefully they will hear us, and there's a couple more months before it's going to be signed into law, and the Senate is under debate. I urge everybody to write your senator and talk about this with them, because it's really, really important.
Sure is.
All
And
right.
it's also forcing schools to go to the public more for support financially. I mean, if you look at the schools that are on the ballot now, and if you read newspapers across the state of Ohio, so many schools are going, they're forcing us to go to the ballot. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to add more, but in order to fund our schools, that's the alternative we are being given.
Yeah, there's a clear push to privatize education from the top. It's just right out in the open now, so it's going to be a battle, but worth the fight.
Well, the other thing is when Beth is graded, and the school district is graded through the state auditor's office on the way we report and how we do our funding in this district. When you look at, since Beth has been here, that's 2008, 2009, she has received an excellent rating every year. So you're talking about that period of time having an excellent rating. And it equates to about the top 5 or 10% of the schools in the entire state that are rated like that. So the people in our community should have the knowledge that we do what we say we're going to do. Our people act frugal, and they spend the money wisely on these kids. One little quick note. when you look at when we built the school, and even the furniture that's in Beth or John's office, it is not oak or walnut furniture. It is pressboard with Formica. They would choose to spend the money on the kids versus spending the money on themselves. And it goes to show why Beth and her staff gets that excellent rating she gets every year, because she puts so much in to making sure that the kids are taken care of first. So we thanked her this past week, but I'm thanking you publicly, Beth.
Thank you.
Anything else from any other board member? Okay.
All right, thank you. Let the record reflect the treasurer submitted a statement to the board and to the superintendent showing the revenues and the receipts, the sources derived, the various appropriations made by the board, the expenditures and disbursements, the purposes and balances remaining in each fund. The financial statement for the period ending March 2025 has been submitted and subject to audit. It includes the financial summary, appropriation and revenue summary, check register recap, and bank reconciliation. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the following financial amendments? These are actually for 3 grants. We received a mental health grant for $937.50. The GPF Employees STEM grant for $5,000, and a Battelle grant for manufacturing. That's to purchase the curriculum in the new manufacturing program for $174,000.
So moved.
Brian?
I'll second it.
That's Linda. Any discussion?
I just am floored by Vanessa. I continue to be floored by the amounts of money, and I know it's a team effort too, but the amounts of money that are just being brought in through her efforts and her team and partners. I would love to know at some point a total amount she's already brought in. I think it's well over $2 million at this point in grants, which is amazing.
The important thing is, when we went through an election phase about 1.5 years ago, there was a emphasis that we said we wanted to put on grants. And we've done that, and it's come to fruition. So we do what we say we're going to do. Any further discussion? Roll call, Beth.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
And Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the 2025 tax year 2026 collection year resolution, accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor?
So moved.
A second.
Brian, any discussion? Roll call, Beth.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Manfredi. I'd like to request a motion to approve the following certified and classified personnel actions as listed.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Linda. Any discussion? Beth, roll call, please.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
And Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
I'd like to request a motion to approve the following volunteers as listed.
So moved.
Dan,
Second.
Jody. What do we gotta do to be a volunteer to go to Cedar Point? Do I have to do anything, or can I just go?
You get to hang out with the middle school students. What you
Ride that bus.
It's a
Boy, I
long
don't
bus
know if
ride.
I don't know about that. Any further discussion? Beth, roll call, please.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
I'd like to request a motion to approve the following contracts as attached.
So moved.
A second.
Brian. Any discussion? Beth will call, please.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
And finally, I'd like to request a motion to approve the following science of reading stipend payments as listed.
So moved.
Jody,
I'll second it.
Linda. Any discussion? Beth will call, please.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, John. Old business. Beth had sent us an email, and we have the board scholarship that I have asked her to send out forms to our seniors. However you would like to contribute, I will tell you to do so with Beth. And once we get the forms back, we'll review them, and we'll set forth who would get those scholarships. Old business. Beth or John, any other old business?
I have none.
Any new business? Beth, this is old business, I'm sorry. The modular units, can you update us?
Yeah, so we're waiting for some of the outside panels to be shipped up from Tennessee. There was some damage during transportation. John and I did a walkthrough last week, and it looks real good. So yeah, we're getting very close. The weather did not do us any favors this year at all. And then as far as the workforce development site, the roofs have been completed. The old cold storage shed has been torn down, and we're waiting for the permit to begin construction on the new classroom. There'll be 2 classrooms, 2 teacher offices, and 2 lab spaces. Preston has set up their paint booths, a new paint booth, so there's 2 paint boxes available for our students this fall, so they'll get some collision work done and painting. And then in the main building, all the painting has been done. They are in the process of setting up lifts. Offices have been set up for Preston, for their commercial business staff, and so yeah, we're moving along. The trees were cut down on Friday. I don't know if you guys went past that corner. It's a big difference.
It does.
Yeah,
It looks really nice.
You
Yeah,
wanted to take those out.
yeah. He's gonna display vehicles up there once we get it all leveled out.
Cool.
So yeah, we're getting prices. As you know, we received a $900,000 grant to rehab that facility. I will tell you that the Prestons have put more than $750,000 into it. They painted that entire, I called it Building A. They painted the interiors all on their own with that. So as soon as we, we're waiting for the bids to come in on the interiors of that classroom building. He's putting up the shell, kind of the envelope, and we're gonna do the interiors. So once we see what those costs are, and then we'll put the rest of the money into rehabbing that middle building.
Awesome.
And whether we talk about the modulars or that project, our goal, obviously, is beginning of next school year, we're ready to go
Yes.
full go.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Looking forward to it. Okay. That was old or new business. Anything else we need to cover?
No.
Okay, next the board meeting, May 12th here, 6 p.m. So just a little under a month away. Beth or John, do we have any need for executive session?
I do not.
Okay, with that being said, I need a motion to adjourn. Brian.
I'll second.
Dan. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Berman?
Yes.
Mr. Manfredi?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. West?
Yes.